You're listening to the Womanpreneur podcast. Empowerment in business and life.
Hello, and welcome to the Womanpreneur podcast, episode number 4. My name is Melissa Moats, and this is the lovely and amazing
Amanda McCune.
Hi, Amanda McCune.
Hi, Melissa Moats. I have to ask, why are you wearing sunglasses and a bright pink feather boa today?
Well, I decided to wear this today because our episode is going to be about authenticity, and I just wanted to really be myself.
And I can't think of any version of yourself that is truer than the one that's with sunglasses and a bright pink feather boa.
Thank you. I think I'm going to start wearing this every day because let me just take these off so that, I can be one step more authentic. I actually want you to be able to see my eyes. And if these lights start to bug me after a while, I'll just put these back on. But no, all kidding aside, we've been talking a lot about authenticity and what that exactly means. And pink is my color, girlfriend.
I have noticed. This does not shock me in any way.
I like every shade of pink. I love rose gold. I love hot pink. I love fuchsia. I love it all.
And it's just another illustration of how Melissa Moats and I are completely contrasting at times, because I don't want anything to do with pink at any point in my life. But, it works.
I want to see what you look like with this feather boa on. Maybe later.
Maybe later. You already made me touch the feathers.
I know.
Think that was enough.
I wanted her to feel how this is a really good quality boa. This is not a crappy thin one that you get at I don't know. I don't want to mention any names of stores that don't have quality boas, but you're out there. This came from the Quality Boa store. Anyway.
The Quality Boa store. And as she said that, our lights just dimmed and came back on. I don't know if the world can handle the true full version of your authentic self.
I know. Well, I always say, look out world, here I come. And I do really think that being authentic is important. And I know we talk about this before we even started rolling today. We were sitting there talking about all these examples of authenticity and why it's important to be yourself. And
yeah, it's such a hot topic right now. In all of this, a lot of people are developing personal brands with social media and everything else. And one of those key driving points is be yourself. Yeah. And it's got us talking and wondering, well, why is it so hard to be yourself? Because if we're just who we are, that shouldn't be so complicated. But we live in this world where we do compare ourselves a lot, and what we see all the time, on social media, we can all sort of curate the version of ourselves that we want you to see.
Right.
For me, I don't post a lot of private stuff. Usually it's something work related, it's a cat, or I'm at a concert and showing that. But as far as my personal life, there's really not much that I share. And, I definitely never post about anything negative because I'm not a believer in putting that out in the world.
Yeah, no, me too.
But even friends that I've had for a long time, they'll see that and I'm like, man, you're just out all the time doing all this fun stuff. And I'm thinking, how is that? Well, I see it on social media. You're always out and about. And it's well, because they only see it when I post something. They don't see the 3 weeks that went in between where I barely got off the couch. So it's that version that's portrayed, and now you're laughing at me. But that's
I'm not laughing at you.
Because but that's kind of part of it. So what we see out in the world isn't necessarily real, but we see what's out there and, that person has something and I want that, or I wish I could do that, but we're not really seeing the full picture.
Right. Well, I think being on social media and sharing a part of your life is, a nice thing. And I think it is nice to be able to, for me, share the positive moments and the things that inspire me or make me feel good, that I want to kind of inspire other people. And I like to share some of the quiet moments too. But you can't, I guess you can put everything on social media if you want to.
Do.
Yeah. I make a conscious effort that if I'm going to take the time to sit down and write a post and post a picture and, whatever, I want it to be a moment that I'm going to look back on and feel really good about. To me, like my Instagram and my Facebook are almost like a personal journal for me. I do it for myself. And obviously other people are going to see some of my stuff, but the way I look at it is hopefully this makes someone smile. That's definitely my thought process in the way that I roll.
That is definitely part of your personal brand, is making people smile.
It is. But it's interesting, this whole brand business and personal brand business, because as like a voice actor, I remember for a long time struggling with, well, what is my brand? Who am I? My authentic brand. And I thought, my authentic brand is a voice actor, or my authentic brand is a human being, or my authentic brand of both of those things. I mean, they're all like kind of the same thing to me in my mind. And it was just like in the last year or so that I really figured out how I wanted to just express that, and I will say that it actually took a little courage, which might be surprising, but going back to what you said, we all kind of compare ourselves, I think, in certain ways. And I catch myself, man, that girl, her thighs, holy cow, I need to do more leg work or this or that. It could be a physical thing, or it could be someone who just seems like they have got just their life so together. And there are moments I feel like my life is really together. And then there are moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I get a shower today, and I remember to eat. We all have our things that we struggle with. But one thing for me was just being brave enough to just be really bold and just say, this is me, and when I made my website for my voice acting, I was like, this is it. I'm literally putting it all out there. I'm going to put my pink beetle in the picture. I'm going to wear a really fun outfit and my retro glasses and bring my mic and have my pictures done in front of the Lady Luck sign at the Neon Sign Museum. And I was like, and I don't care what anybody thinks. And I think that's a really big part of it, is there are always going to be people who hate is gonna hate, like they say. Oh, well,
Yeah.
We don't care about what the haters think. We care about what the lovers and supporters think, because that's what we're all about.
And if you want to see what Melissa is, or who she really is, go to ladyluckvoiceovers.com and you get a perfect version. It's Melissa Moats in a website. Like I don't think I've ever seen a website that so accurately portrays somebody's personality, but you go on there and it's vibrant and it's just full of life, and that's exactly who you are. And that's who I've known you to be for all these years that I've known you. But it's even when you've gone through tough times, like you're always putting that positivity forward, and that really is a big part of who you are. And I think that's why you and I have connected so well, because it's, we're doers, as we've been told. Bad things happen, but we figure out a way through it. We think it's important to give yourself time to deal with whatever happens, but you also sort of move on in a way that's healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of life, is it's never perfect.
Nope.
It's never all, sunny.
Perfect is boring.
It is boring.
And it's not even real. It's like perfect according to who,
Right.
And I think we all need to just love ourselves more. And I think we all just need to say, yeah, what was it from Saturday Night Live that they used to say, like,
more cowbell?
No, it was like, was it the church lady or
who isn't that special?
Oh yes, who is that? I forget.
The church
now.
lady is Dana Carvey.
No, but who used to say, like, doggone it?
Oh, Stuart Smalley.
Yes,
because I'm good enough, I'm
smart enough, and people like me. Doggone it, people like me. Yeah, that is what I was referring to. But why don't we look in the mirror and say that more often? Like, would it be weird to walk up to your mirror in the morning and brush your teeth and be like, you are awesome.
But who's there to judge you on it?
Right.
Only yourself.
Or your cats.
Well,
or my cat.
But they're kind of judgmental all the time.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you bring up cats. Like, you are here in your bright pink feather boa. I am wearing my gray sweatshirt that has a picture of a cat reading a book. And I did that intentionally for our authenticity episode because, I always feel that I don't really care what other people think about me, to the extent that any human can really say that. I don't think any of us can say we don't care truthfully, because it does. It affects us, and we want to be liked and appreciated and all of that.
Sure we do.
But for a long time now, I've always been a cat person my entire life. From the time I was a kid, I was always collecting strays and doing all of that. I just have a sort of kinship with cats, I think, because our personalities are very similar. We're the types that, when we want attention, we'll go out and we'll find it, and then when we're done, we're just going to go hang out alone, and we'll come back around.
Nothing wrong with that.
But there is such a stigma about cats, and they can, for whatever reason, this little animal is very polarizing. Like, people who love cats really love cats. People who hate cats really hate cats.
I know.
And especially when you're a single woman of a certain age, the concept of having cats, it's like, oh, she's going to be the crazy cat lady. And I've always sort of been aware of that. And so it's almost like I kept the cat side of me to myself. Like, I have 2 cats, and I do have a 2-pet max. I will never have more than 2 pets, but I volunteer at the animal shelters, and I know that if I didn't have that rule, I would take them all home with me. But it's, I just sort of kept that part away. To sometimes people would say, I didn't know you had pets. And I thought, well, I just sort of try to keep quiet about that. And just at some point, not even that long ago, I just had this realization, and it's like, no, this is kind of a big part of my life. I love my pets. They bring me joy. So, you know what? I'm a cat person, and I'm okay with that.
I think that's super perfect.
You're right. Oh, I see what you did there.
Hey, just saying.
Good one.
Thank you. Pun intended. One of the things that we were talking about before we started rolling, you made a point about your life, and then I made a point about my life regarding, you said you've been asked before when you're getting ready to go out on a date, maybe you're going to meet someone and go out for a nice dinner date, someone new in your life. And they're like, why aren't you putting on a bunch of makeup and wearing a pretty dress, Amanda?
Yes, I have been accused, is probably the best word, of not making enough effort. And it always kind of made me laugh, because it's, if I am going out with somebody new, I need him to know what he's getting into. I don't want to waste my time or anybody else's time with some fake version of who I am and set these standards that I'm not able to maintain. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to show up in my pajamas and not having showered for 3 days, but, I'm pretty simple. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I'm usually in jeans and a t-shirt if I'm actually wearing real pants, which we've talked about. If I'm not in my Pilates gear, it's usually jeans and a t-shirt. I like to dress up when the occasion calls for it.
You've worn not sparkly dress. You wore like satin dress for me.
I made an effort for an occasion that Melissa Moats was being celebrated. And I like that, to change it up sometimes and show that, I can clean up when I need to. But as far as the day-to-day, that's part of me being true to myself. And I'm not... It's tough in Vegas, because Vegas girls are expected to be a certain way, but I'm not that. I'm not comfortable wearing a lot of makeup. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to do my hair. So part of it is laziness. And part of it is just, it's really not who I am.
You're just being yourself. You're being true to you.
And I'm not apologizing for it either.
And you shouldn't.
If, somebody is going to be in my life in whatever capacity, they need to accept me for who I am.
Absolutely.
Or not. And it's okay if the answer is not. I'm not going to change for somebody else. I don't want somebody else to change for me. And that's a really big part of being true to yourself. And I think it's why I feel that it's important for people to spend time alone to really get to know who they are.
Sure.
Instead of trying to determine who they are based on what others tell them they are or should be.
Right.
But, that's just me.
No, I think that's really great. And I was sharing with Amanda that, over the years, so many people will say to me, gosh, why are you so happy all the time? Or is this chick for real? Like, 'cause she's so happy all the time. And, yes, I am this happy almost all the time. Maybe when I first wake up in the morning, I'm a little bit crabby until I get my coffee, but I'm not a morning person. But honestly, like I've thought I'm not going to change who I am because other people aren't comfortable with how happy I am.
Yeah, could you just be a little less happy?
Could you
you're making
tone
me
the
feel
happy
bad.
down? Could you tone the happy down?
Right.
And one of the things, that I've said too is like, we were just talking about social media a few minutes ago, sharing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when I was going through a recent, well, not terribly recent, it's been a few years now. I like being on this side of it now. But I was going through cancer, and I wanted to. I worked really hard every day to maintain a positive attitude. It wasn't just this natural, thing that just happened. It was a choice, a conscious choice that I made every day, and I felt like I needed to be really positive for myself, and I wanted to have a really happy body chemistry because I really felt like that was going to help me, get through all of that. And keeping a positive state of mind, I think helps your body heal. And I know it does, as a matter of fact, because I really do think that was a big part of my going through my journey with cancer. But I'll say, don't apologize if you're a really happy person. Don't apologize if you're a really grumpy person.
We need more happy people.
Right?
And it's that idea of controlling your mind in a positive way. It's something that I feel is really important and very possible. And it's not that you're trying to lie about anything, but when you make your habits those of thinking positively and seeing the results, it becomes your nature to be that happy, and you don't let other people tell you how you can or can't be. And I'm glad that you said that about your journey and sort of using that positivity to get out of cancer. My grandma has always been this huge inspiration to me, and she's 94. And when she was not very old. I mean, she's probably like her 30s or 40s. I don't recall exactly, but she had this Hong Kong flu. She was paralyzed. And at the same time, they found out she had MS. They told her then that she would never walk again, that her life expectancy wouldn't be that long. Grandma's 94 now, and she still walks. I mean, she has a walker, and she moves around, and, but she didn't take the medication. She didn't listen to the doctors. And it wasn't, for any reason other than her own belief in herself that she kind of got through that and is where she is. And, I think that says a lot. Like, not that doctors don't know what they're talking about, but it's very easy when somebody tells you you're sick or something, you can't do something, that gets in your head, and then you believe that and your actions reflect that.
And sometimes it's hard to really dig deep and look within and say, no, I'm going to be the person who's going to tell me how this is going to go,
Exactly.
And, that's amazing about your grandmother. I remember seeing some pictures of her on your Facebook or on your Instagram of one of her recent birthdays. It was really cute.
Yeah.
But she's a cute lady. But yeah, I just think authenticity, I mean, if you really think about the word being authentic, being genuine, being real, it's just letting all of your awesome hang out. It's just letting yourself, giving yourself full permission to just be you and not worry about what other people think. Because I'm at a point in my life where I've, really gotten comfortable with, I know that I'm good to everyone in my life. Anyone that's in my life, I love them fully. I support everyone. I'm always cheering for everyone. I don't spend any time sitting around hating on people or judging people or thinking negatively about other people. Because number one, I don't like the way that makes me feel. And number two, if I'm going to take the time to check out what other people are doing, I want to support them. I want to be happy for them. And I think the whole authenticity thing, it just kind of comes down to being honest with yourself and being honest with all of the people who engage with you in your life, right? What do you think?
Definitely. And I think that applies to people in your life of all kinds. Even as business owners, when I'm working with a new client, I expect that same level of authenticity. I want them to know who I am. I want to know who they are, because if we're making the decision to work together, I don't want to agree to take on a project or a client based on this perception of what I think they're about, which is really important to me. I'm actually, one of the things I love about being self-employed is I get to choose who I work with and who I don't. And it's not all about the money for me. I want to work with people who share certain values with me, who are also positive and just, want to do good work. And I've had that happen before where I took a job under what I felt was sort of were false pretenses. And then I got to start working with this person and I just thought, no, this is not who you were on the phone. This is not who you were in the meetings. This isn't even a product that we talked about. Like, this is not something I'm comfortable with. And I had to sort of excuse myself from the job. I found somebody else to take it on. But then when I was talking to that person, he said, oh, well, if that's how they're going to be, I don't want to be involved in that either. And it was, it could have saved all of us a lot of time if they had just been honest in the beginning. Yeah. And that is how I feel about personal relationships too. Let's just be honest with each other and save all that time. It's so much easier than trying to be somebody they're not. Like, that takes a lot of effort. And
it does.
I just don't have that in me. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I today I pulled up a few quotes that I thought were really great. These are anonymous quotes. So, authenticity over everything. I love that one. Don't trade your authenticity for approval. I think that's one of the things we're touching on. And let's see, what were some of the other ones that were really good? Authenticity, the courage to be yourself. So definitely, we just talked about that. Be fearlessly authentic. That one really resonates for me because you do have to be fearless, I think, to kind of really let everything hang out.
Oh, sure. Like, being vulnerable is scary. And part of being real is being vulnerable. And I think that's a big part of why so many of us sort of hesitate to be true, because then you're putting yourself out there and that opens you up for the judgment and the disapproval and everything else.
Right.
And it's, sometimes that, I know for me, I hold certain things very close to my heart. I don't let a lot of people in, and it's not for lack of trust so much as it is just, I like to handle my stuff on my own. Yeah. That's just, it's kind of the way that
That's how you roll.
Sympathy and pity and all that makes me really uncomfortable. So I would rather just not let people in, but that's not great all the time either. And when it comes to the important things, I do share that. It's just with a sort of a small circle of people who I trust. Unless you ask me a direct question though, and then I'm pretty much an open book. And that's what people don't always understand. They're like, oh, well, I don't know that much about you. And it's like, you never asked. And I just don't volunteer information is kind of my big thing. It's people in general, I think, like to talk about themselves, and I'm a listener. Sure. Except for right now when I'm talking and you're just sitting there nodding at me.
I'm listening. I'm being a good listener. We're going to be talking about being a good listener on our an upcoming episode. Yes. So we'll have to more on that. But I also wrote a few things down about freely expressing yourself and being confident. I think being confident is another part of authenticity, is just really feeling comfortable in your own skin and being comfortable with, your ideas and how you express yourself, to be able to freely express yourself. And that's what I was demonstrating today. I'm freely expressing myself in all my pinkness. I'm going to just put it out there though, that I do feel like these feathers are sticking to my lip gloss a little bit, and
so maybe
I'm just saying, I made an observation that I want to share very candidly on camera today. So my parents were in town in the last few days. I'm just stretching out my feathers
for those of you listening, she's basically petting her feather boa right now.
I'm petting it, and I'm just getting it away from my lip gloss. It's not a good combo. But my sister had her baby. I have a new niece, and she was born on the 28th. And it was just really awesome. Cute little, healthy, chubby, beautiful little baby girl named Emmeline. And my sister is doing great, so I'm really happy about that. But my parents were here. And my dad was watching a couple of episodes of our podcast with me. And just to kind of preview a little bit, like not the whole episode, but like first few minutes. Yeah, I was like, Dad, this is our podcast. Check it out. Da, 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 da. And I hadn't really sat down and super watched, an episode. And I made a few observations about myself. And then my dad he was really watching closely. And at the end of the episode, he said, I have 2 comments for you. And I said, what are those, Dad? And he said, number 1, your logo is so beautiful. And he's like, make sure you can see more of this awesome part of your logo because we were blocking it before.
Oh, okay. So I want to give a quick shout out to Tara Kelly, who designed the amazing logo for us that we love so much.
She's an amazing womanpreneur.
She is.
And thank you for doing that for us, Tara. And then my dad also said, I feel like you're holding back. And I said, I am holding back because I'm super uncomfortable. And he's like, what are you uncomfortable about? And I said, I don't know. I just feel sort of vulnerable when I'm on camera because I'm not usually on camera. I'm usually behind a microphone and I have no problem expressing myself. And I'm comfortable speaking in front of groups of people. I'm comfortable singing. I used to be a cruise director. Like none of that stuff freaks me out. But like some little camera and these lights, like it just made me feel super uncomfortable. And so I was being sort of shy. Like I felt like I was really holding back in the way that I was expressing myself. And I was having a hard time really concentrating on what I wanted to share. And today is the first time that I actually feel totally fine. Like I'm not afraid of you, camera. See you?
She's got this.
See you right there and see me right here in my pink feather boa? Don't even care.
And it's ironic because a big part of my job as a producer is to make people feel comfortable on camera. And it's because
irony.
For most people, especially when you're not a professional actor, once you get in front of the camera and it's pointed at you and these lights are on you, it's really uncomfortable. And sometimes you've got a whole crew of people around you and it's just, then you become very hyper aware of everything you're saying and doing. And what am I doing with my hands? I'm not sure what's happening. Yeah. And so part of what I do is to talk to the people beforehand, sort of get them loosened up, make them laugh a little bit, show them, that it doesn't have to be that scary. Sometimes I'll even stand behind the camera just slightly so I can make eye contact with them so they're not looking straight at the camera.
Yeah.
But now here it is, like now I'm the one in front of the camera and I don't have a me over there saying, oh, you should be more comfortable. It's okay. So I'm trying to get over that a little bit, but it's a little bit
Do you feel better
weird.
today on episode 4?
I do. I think it's, like anything else, over time it gets easier. I'm very confident about our topics and what we're talking about. And it's nice that you're here with me. That helps a whole lot too.
I like that we're here together talking and just sharing because, you and I were emailing in the last few days. We email a lot of days.
A little bit.
Most days.
A lot of days.
Many lots of days. And that was the day that I told you, it's Catter Day. Oh. Happy Catter Day. I was being authentically myself. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just laughing about Catter Day because you didn't really jump in earlier when I was talking about cat people to say, oh, I'm a cat person too. You didn't give me your support in that manner.
I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to make it about me. We were talking about you and your cats. I do have an old cat named Gizmo. He's almost 19 and he's amazing. But,
so sorry to cut you off there, but since we're talking about support, and I think that's a big part, and you and I were talking about it a little bit before, but there's this thing that happens a lot, and I feel like women do it more than men. I'm not sure, but we're not being as supportive of each other as we can in this sort of quest to be authentic. And I noticed it, I do, because a lot of what I do has to do with advertising and marketing and all of that. I work with production companies and things. So I do try to pay attention to what's out there. And of course, with social media, we see all those ads out there. And just the other day, I was scrolling through and I saw this ad for a bathing suit and I noticed the model on it. I'm like, oh, man, she's kind of flat-chested. That's really nice because we don't really see that in models a lot. And as a proud, small-chested girl, I thought, wow, that's really nice to finally see somebody like me out there. However, the comments on this ad were brutal. You need to get some real models or show somebody who has curves, and like real women should, would never fit into this. And I just thought, well, but I'm real too. I'm not phony. Yeah. And I get we were tired of everybody being represented as these super thin, super fit, perfectly shaped and poised
perfectly
women.
airbrushed.
But that doesn't mean that we should hate on anybody who's different and sort of go the opposite direction.
Right.
And that I just thought was, and then on the other side, I saw another one, and it was an ad for some running shorts, and it just showed the shorts and a woman's leg, and the leg had cellulite on it. And I thought, that's pretty cool, because that's, pretty realistic.
Yep.
Same thing. The comments were brutal. Like, some were applauding it and like, it's really great that we're showing different types of bodies in here now. And some of them were just like, I don't want to see that. And there's so many mixed messages, and it's no wonder that it's so hard to just say, this is who I am. I'm going to accept me. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to, do what I can with what I have. And that's okay that I don't look like that person, or she
Right.
doesn't look like me. And I think we get further ahead and help everybody when we support each other.
Absolutely.
And compliment each other and say, this is something good about you, instead of,
I know.
Let's tear each other down so we feel better about ourselves.
Well, I think that when you do spend a lot of time and attention nitpicking other people, I wonder what kind of conversation are you having inside your head about yourself? It's just we should support each other, and I personally applaud women who are putting these pictures up of themselves on Instagram. I do follow a few gals who, have had babies or have had really significant weight loss, and, they'll show their stretch marks and their fit bodies. And this one gal in particular, I can't remember her Instagram name off the top of my head. I think it's Ashley.
There's feathers flying
Feathers
everywhere.
are flying. Anyway, she had this picture of herself in her workout gear and her workout pants, and she's like all smooth and perfect and beautiful. And she was, showing that, she was fit and she'd lost all this weight. And then in the next picture you slide, she had her pants and she like pulled the front part of her pants down, and you could see all this loose skin and all of her stretch marks. And she's like, still beautiful. That's what she said,
Right.
Beautiful and then still beautiful. And I love that there are women that are showing, not only quote unquote imperfections, but they're doing it in a confident way to kind of set an example and saying, hey, guess what? I'm keeping it real. I'm being authentic,
Right.
and keeping it real in general. And I think that we should all, keep it as real as possible.
And it's tough too, I think we're getting better overall,
Me
as
too.
a society, because more people are stepping forward and doing things like that, or, this is how I look without makeup, or, here's how much of a difference lighting and the right poses and everything makes.
Right.
Because a lot of it is just not real. Like, you can suck things in, and you can twist your body in a certain way and look like you've got a six pack, and then 2 seconds later it'd be like, look at all the food I ate.
Yeah.
It's all kind of phony. And there's a lot of celebrities who are stepping out and doing more about showing, actually criticizing magazines that are photoshopping them and doing certain things. And I think that's important, because so many impressionable women and, people, actually not just women, are seeing what's out there in the media and everywhere else. And
you know
saying,
what? This is just the packaging.
Right.
This is just the packaging. This has nothing to do with what's going on inside. Now, I think this is our vessel in life, and we should take care of ourselves. We talked about self-care a few episodes ago, and, we should take care of our bodies and present ourselves in the best way we can to the world. Also, just for ourselves to feel good, and I think when you take good care of yourself, you feel better. And I think that shows up in everything that you're doing in your life. But this is the packaging, and I feel like, why are we all sitting around and worrying so much about what everybody's packaging is looking like, and going back to the supporting thing, instead of, I read a lot of people write really negative, nasty things on, Facebook feeds or Instagram feeds or whatever. And they're like, like being really critical, like you were saying about people making comments about that girl's bust size or whatever. It's like, remember what we were taught as kids? Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't
Right.
say anything at all. Like, why do we have to be so mean? I'm saying we, like I do it. I don't do
You
it.
don't do it, no.
I would be the person on the feed like, you're amazing. I
Right.
think your boobs look awesome. Good job. Good boobs, like seriously. I think your boobs are perfectly awesome. I don't know, whatever. Or whatever, whatever the
Right.
case may be.
And
Or
that-
I have cellulite. I'd be like, high five on the cellulite, girlfriend. I like it. It looks just like mine, but whatever. So, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I like it. And that's one of the things that has always been a big part of our friendship. We're both that way. You and I will support everybody. It's like, you want to do this? Okay. How can I help? Let's go do it.
Think
and
about
it's that, nobody would ever accuse me of being a cheerleader per se, but I am very supportive of people.
But you are a cheerleader.
And one of my biggest goals is just, if you have a passion project or if you have something that you really want to do, you can do it. Let me help you figure out how, or, that's because I get inspired by that. I feel like I've sort of captured a few of those moments on my own. So, if somebody says, I want to do this thing, but I don't know, and you're sort of insecure about it, that's where I step in. And it's like, okay, you can do it. Let's figure out how. And that's not that I'm going to take it over, but that's, I'm right here. If you need me, if you need a little help or support or guidance, or you just need to vent or whatever it is, because I find that is just, and that's authentic to who I am.
Yeah.
It's, I don't have to be the center of attention. I don't have to be in charge. I can be those things if I have to, but I'm just as happy, saying, oh, Melissa's doing this great thing. I'm going to go support her right now, and let's make it about her, or what. Excuse me. I just forgot how to swallow there for a second.
It's okay. It happens.
Oof, I got
to the
excited.
best of us. Let me support you on, go ahead, try it again. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to drink some water while you talk.
Yeah, do it.
Yes.
No, a couple of things were kind of popping in my head as you were talking earlier, and this whole authentic. Even as a voice actor, I see a lot of specs and direction from clients who hire me and other voice actors to do performances. And one of the biggest pieces of direction I see all the time is we're looking for an authentic voice. Well, all of our voices are authentic, but really they want an authentic performance, one that just means keeping it real, really believable, down to earth, just not a put on, So I think that's another thing too, talking about the opposite of being authentic is, being false or fake, or, pretending you are someone that you aren't. And a lot of times that's just done out of insecurity. If you're insecure, you feel like you have to be a chameleon, it's like whoever you're with, you have to, be a different version of yourself to please them, or that's what you think you have to do. But for going back to voice acting for a minute in business for my life with voice acting is, being authentic and being real is I'm reading a script and I'm just letting my Melissa-ness come through in the script, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say or ask, isn't voice acting so competitive? And I don't think it's competitive at all, because I feel like the only person I'm competing with at that moment is myself, because I'm either going to give a performance that is true to me or not. And one of the things that I think a lot about as a voice actor is I don't want to put it on, do a put on in my performance. I just want to be myself, my authentic self, because all of my reads have a lot of optimism in them in my performances. And if I wasn't allowing my true essence, my true optimism to come through, I would be doing myself a great disservice, because I wouldn't be booking all the work that I'm booking, because people are looking for a natural smile. They're looking for a natural smile, and they're looking for, real raw optimism. Well, I am real raw optimism, and I'm not going to feel bad about that.
Good.
But I also realize that I can't be everything that everyone would want me to be in casting, right? So when I'm doing voice acting, I owe it to myself to bring myself to every performance that I do. So to me, authenticity is every time I'm performing and every time I'm creating, I'm trusting my heart. I'm trusting my gut. I believe myself, and I'm just being really raw about what I'm doing. And if I'm the right person for the job, then I'm the right person for the job. And if I'm not, that's okay. Somebody else was being their authentic brand or their doing their authentic thing that got them noticed. So anyway, just to kind of relate it to myself and what I do as a voice actor, I always am myself. I will always bring my real essence to what I do.
But what you just said applies not just to voiceover, that's life. If you treat your life the way that you are, well, if everybody treats their lives the way you treat your voiceover jobs,
right?
Like that, because that's exactly what it is. We can't be everything to everyone all the time, and that's okay. That would be exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's always, I get, awkward or quirky or all those things. And I don't think of those as insults. I say them about myself, and I don't mean it in any kind of self-deprecating manner. Right. I'm really awkward at times, and I'm quirky, and I'm a little bit weird, and that's okay, because those are those personality traits that have gotten me to where I am in life, because I have this weird, see, there I just said weird, but it's that difference in that I work with creatives, but I'm a manager. And there's been sort of this perception that to be business smart, you have to have a certain, you've got to wear pencil skirts, and you've got to, just be stuffy and rigid and mean all the time, or bossy. And that's not me. And the reason I've been so successful in management is because of my weirdness, my quirkiness, my ability to relate to normal people, and especially creatives, who are the people I work with primarily. But they, they don't see me as, oh, this scary person in charge. It's like, yeah, she's just one of us. She just knows a few more things about business. We don't want to deal with that stuff anyway. So let's let her do it, but we still have fun. And that's really how my career has skyrocketed. It's from owning my weirdness and saying, you know what, I can be smart and creative at the same time. I don't have to pick one. I'm not going to pick one.
Yep. And what kind of a womanpreneur are you? Or manpreneur? The question is,
Manpreneur. Sorry, that just still makes me laugh.
I love that word. I love word combos. I love, what do we call those? Mashups. What are they?
Word combo mashup sounds good to me.
I want it to be there's a word, I think, for it when you mash up two words into one word.
I don't have the answer
know.
for you right now.
My point is, I don't even know what my point is. My point is, I think too, when you're a business owner, I don't know. Do you ever feel like sometimes people take themselves a little too seriously and they have to super put on this major persona? Like, I'm a business owner, so I have to act this way. One of the things that I've figured out over the years is, same thing with you, is I can still be super nice and super loving and hug everyone and not, be bossy to run a business and have an amazing tribe around me of people who are a part of, everything that we're doing together and building together. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot to be said for just you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a business owner, you can grow things and build things and do it with a big smile on your face and a lot of love in your heart. And if you're feeling that way, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're weak, because I think sometimes people perceive kindness and smiling and loving. And, for me, I'm a super huggy person. And, sometimes my voice will go up 3 octaves with I'm so excited to see somebody. But I don't care if somebody perceives that as me they might think I'm weak or an airhead or too happy or whatever. I don't care.
Too happy.
I know what I'm doing, and I'm being me and I'm doing my thing. And I don't know. I just wanted to kind of make that point that being kind and being loving does not mean that you aren't strong and amazing and smart and business savvy. So I don't know. I think that's maybe just like a nugget of food for thought, is if you're a business owner, you should really be aware of letting, I think, your true essence just come to the surface, because I think that's just going to help you attract more of what it is you're really trying to achieve, or whatever you're searching for and wanting to do. You're going to bring it in more if you really be yourself.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that, because, there's two reasons that I've always felt that if somebody underestimates me, it's why. Number one is because I'm quiet, and number two, it's because I'm nice. And people don't associate those two traits with being good in business. But those two traits are exactly why I'm good in business, because it's people skills. Being nice is a good way to connect with people. They want to work with you when you're kind, because who wants to work with somebody who's mean to them all the time? And who runs businesses but people? You can't, I guess, unless something's completely automated, but even then there's a person involved. But most business involves people, so connecting with people is a huge part of it. And they're much more likely to help you and to work with you if you're kind. And the quiet thing, again, I sort of choose my words carefully. I don't speak up until it's important, but when I do, then people stop and listen, because I don't talk just to be heard. I sort of gather information, I observe, I do what I do in my head, and then when I talk, I'm very clear and precise and direct about what message I'm trying to get across. That's how business runs well. And
absolutely,
those two things are exactly why I've done as well as I have.
I think that's awesome. And I think too that people trust you a lot more when you are unapologetically being yourself, and when you are comfortable in your own skin, and you just let all of your awesome hang out.
Or you're weird.
Or you're weird, or you're awkward, or your cat lovingness, or your feather boa. Look at all these weird feathers all over me.
Her white shirt is going to be very pink and fluffy for
I'm gonna need a lint roller, a feather lint roller, whatever. All I can say is be yourself, because what was the quote? This is a really good way to wind her down.
It is. One of my favorite quotes from Oscar Wilde is, "Be yourself, everybody else is already taken." Or maybe it's everyone else is already taken, but it's just be who you are, because there's only one of you.
Absolutely.
So why not be the best one of you can be?
Yeah, let all of your you-ness.
Mm-hmm. There's a Dr. Seuss quote about your you-ness.
Will you read it? Because I liked your Dr. Seuss-ness.
Yeah, we can. Okay, this is a Dr. Seuss. "Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you." So there you go. Be
I love
you.
it. And don't talk about it. Be about it. My husband is dancing behind the camera right now, being unapologetically himself. He's being very authentic right now.
He is.
And
he's authentically telling us it's time to wrap up.
Hey, thank you all for tuning in to the Womanpreneur Podcast, episode 4. I don't know about you, girl, but I'm feeling super good. You feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Can we high five on it?
We can high five on it. Ooh.
Boom. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Womanpreneur Podcast. Until next time, you've got this.